My job has a ton of repetitive tasks that I automate with Keyboard Maestro. I recently had to add over 1,000 domains to a web page. Manually, this would have taken me over 2 hours, but with the macro I made, I did it in 5 minutes. Today, I'll walk you through how I made it and my approach for automating tasks in my job. Real quick, you can sign up for a free coaching call with me using the link at the top of the description, where I'll help you save hours every week by making macros like the one in this video. So I had to add this huge list of domains to this site, and unfortunately the site doesn't let you upload a custom file with a list of domains. So I had to add them one at a time to this web page. Manually, this would have taken forever, copying and pasting these items one at a time from the text file into the website, then going back, doing it again and again for all of these domains. So I decided to make a macro to do it for me. So I came into Keyboard Maestro and I made a new macro, and I'll just call it add domains to site. And then I'll add a hotkey trigger here. This can just be something random, like this. And then I added an action of for each. So the for each action will just do some actions that you put here for each of the items in a certain list. So I'm going to select the lines in a collection as the list, and I'll select a file as the list of items that will perform some actions on. So the file is going to be the huge list of domains. And now that adds it here. And I'll call this new variable that's being set, I'll just call it local site. So it's a local variable. We're adding this local at the beginning to make sure this variable gets deleted once the macro is finished running. And then now I had to think about what actions I wanted to do for each of the items in my huge list of domains. So I came back to the site and I thought about what exactly I was doing. So I was copying the domain with Command C, and then I was coming over, I was pasting it in, and then I was pressing enter. And then at some point I had to select this text box again before I could paste in the next item. So I thought, okay, maybe since this action here is getting one domain at a time into a variable, then maybe I'll add an action to insert text by pasting. So I'll change this insert text by pasting, and I'll just have it paste in this variable here. And then after it pastes it in, it needs to press enter. So type a keystroke and press return. So what this macro is doing so far is that for each of the items in this list here, it's setting it to a variable, and then it pastes it, and then it presses enter. But then at this point, we need to be able to select this text box again. So using the tab key, I'm going to see if I can try to press tab and get to that text box. And I notice that when I press tab, it's going the wrong direction. But I also know that I can press shift and tab to go the opposite direction. So what I'm going to try to do is test this out. I'm going to select a new site, paste it in, press enter. And then this time, instead of pressing tab, I'm going to press shift tab. That takes me back up here. And then if I press tab again, I notice that it takes me back to the text box where I can insert text again and repeat the process. So coming back to Keyboard Maestro, I'm going to add a few more actions, just duplicating these, holding Option and dragging the action down. So I said the first one would be shift and tab. So I'll press shift and tab, and then the second one is tab. So this macro looks like it might already work. We're inserting the text, pressing enter, and then we're pressing shift and then tab to reselect this text box. So I'm going to delete the ones we have already, and I'm going to try running this macro. So I'm going to cancel the macro because it looks like it's not working correctly. Something is incorrect here. None of the domains were being added. And it looks like the reason for that is that it might be adding them too quickly. It's not giving the site enough time to register the response before it moves on to the next one. So I'm going to come back to Keyboard Maestro then and add a short pause after the return button here. So let's set it to maybe 1 second for now, and then test out this macro. So then I'm going to come back to the web page and I will enable the macro again. And this time it looks like it's working. I'm just going to cancel it for now though and see if we can lower the delay on this, because we could make the macro faster by reducing the delay. So I'm going to say 0.3 seconds and let's test the macro to make sure it still works. So I'll delete these and test it out, and it looks like it does work. So at this point, I'm just going to leave it alone and take a quick break from my computer and come back and see if it worked. Okay, so I just let this run for a few minutes. I didn't let it do the whole list. But as you can see, it successfully added a huge number of these domains to the website already. And if I wanted to let it run and complete the rest, then that would be a super simple process of just activating the hotkey again. As you can see, it only took a couple minutes to make a macro that saved hours of time. And I hope you learned some new tips that you can apply to your own macros. By the way, you can download the macro from this video down in the description below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.